Well, here we are today at the website that is right now covered up by the Ability X ratings at homehorseplayer.com. Ability X ratings for Santa Anita, the 10th of October 2021, Sunday, which was yesterday. And we're here to point out just a couple of other good things about using Ability X ratings to make betting decisions on thoroughbred horse racing. And you might notice that it is a completely different format from the typical or usual past performances that have been popular for the last 100 or so years, and that is for good reason. As you might be able to see, a couple of obvious things here in the first race and the second race of the day. The Ability X Rating Simple Pick wins the first, paying $19.80, and the Simple Pick again wins the second, and the Ability X Ratings Key Horse here in orange was second in that race, and that $1 exacta paid 17 to 1, or a payoff of $18.20 for the $1 bet on that exacta. And then of course in the first race, every $20 bet on number one of that simple pick would return 198. So very profitable, but there is a reason for the different format. This format here is in the run of the horse, and you get an ability rating here for the run of the horse. And the post position, the early speed rating from the last race, the morning line, and a composite rating. And just 5 columns of completely different information in a completely different format that you can quickly see which horses might well be contenders in any race you're looking at anywhere in North America. And our best example from the day, the second race here at 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, is part of the example. And we see the par, which is the typical winner's run rating and early speed for this distance, which is another important part of this different format. But we take that information in from the second race because the 9th race, the last race of the day, is again 6.5 furlongs for distance. It is on the grass. It does feature this same par. However, one in using Ability X ratings to make betting decisions, after some bit of time, which might be very short, might be long, might be somewhere in between, might be a day, might be 2 months, might be a week. It depends on you. But you probably will notice that certain distances, such as 6 and 6.5 furlongs, feature ratings, are typical frequent winners of that distance for particular reasons. And after some time, these particular numbers might stick out a little bit to you as you simply look down that line of ratings, such as this rating for number 1, 299. Now, that tends to stick out because it's right there, 1 point away from 300. And The thing about 300 for a 6 furlong race, it is near perfect for being even, a nice even run, if it is not done at a tremendous high early speed. It's very even, 300. Very, very even. And that is what we're trying to find for a horse that we can bet on in a horse race. A horse that runs well from the start to the finish, or something like 300 for 6 furlongs, which is like right at 100 for the first 2 furlongs, 100 for the second 2 furlongs, and 100 for the third 2 furlongs distance of the race. Now, of course, this 9th race is 6.5 furlongs, so we do have an extra 1/16 of a mile to cover. And we find through observation that the horse that more easily covers that 1/16 of a mile under its own power is that horse which runs evenly and a little bit slower than usual on the early speed. That's why the par early speed is 94. The run rating is typically, the typical average run rating is 340, because usually you want to see a little more run in the last part of the race. But when we're looking at 300 ratings, that's tremendously even. We know that. So that might stick out to us. And since the distance is 6.5 furlongs, we take a look at this 91 early speed, and we can quickly determine that it is not too fast. Not too fast at all. Actually, it's a few points below that par, which many form handicappers might consider slow. But of course, they're not aware that that's exactly what you're looking for in a 6.5 furlong race. Somebody a little slower that can make that other 1/16 under their own power. And the idea for a nice even runner like number 1 obviously is. Number 1 very even, 91 early speed. Number 9's pretty even at 305, but 97 early speed. So that could be a problem if the horse goes that fast today. And let's see, what else do we... Oh, number 3. The second morning line favorite at 3-1, 292. That's a very even run also. But again, that's at 96 early speed. So we might kind of might be able to decide, hey, I want to look this number 1 over really well in the pre-race festivities, like the post parade and the warm-ups, and see how number 1 looks for running this race today very well, very evenly, and all that good stuff, because it's got a morning line of 12-1 that's going up to double. 24-1 that thing's going to, while we're contemplating the possibilities of this 9th race, where we have been able to decide. We at least want to give number 1 the good look over for a betting decision, yes or no. And what could be better? 24-1. Hey, that's what the prospect is. If this horse can run the well, or seems that it can run this distance well today, hey, that's like 51.80 back for every $2 that is bet. So if we could just scratch up a 20 having seen that we like number one very much in the post-parade and warm-ups before the race, physical condition, and all of that stuff, we really like number one now. We like number one even more. Well, for every $20 that we might be able to scratch up, we would get back 518. So these are the prospects, and that, of course, the other thing is, if we keep it at a win bet, basically, we think number one will win. Well, we can bet every other horse in the race for a second in a $1 exacta wheel with number one up front on top and get back 146.10. And what will it cost us? Let's see, we have 11 other horses in this race? Yeah, 11. There's 12 horses total. We're going to bet one to win. We got to bet 11 others to come in second. Well, let's see. At $1 a shot, that's another $22. So, yeah, we can do that. And maybe we could even cut down the number from 11 a little bit by betting for second those that make sense for second, like number 3, another very even rating for this distance. Maybe a touch high on the early speed, and that might be why we leave number 9 out of that. But we might want to go down and we'll pick up 11 and 6. And number 2. We might want to do that. But we don't have to. Okay? If we can scratch up another $22, we can nail this $146.10 exacta. So let's take a look at that and see how that worked out as the race went off. And I know I've got it in here someplace. So there it is. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Let's take a look and see how that went. And mostly what we want to look at so that we can continue to learn what Ability X ratings are telling us and what they mean. We want to look at how number 1 runs this race. How's he go? So let's take a look. We know we don't want him blasting off.
They're in the gate.
Super fast.
And they're off.
And he doesn't.
Scramble for the early lead.
Number 1's right there.
And now it goes to D's Lovely Sophia. Opening up a length and a half. Luxury Liner, who broke on top, is second. And down at the rail, here's Super Game joining the party as well. Squared Shady's on the far outside, and Gypsy Blue is only 2 lengths off the pace. They're followed by Taming the Tigress. Gotta Be Lucky is next, racing about 4 lengths off the lead, joined at the rail by Bella D as they pass the half-mile pole. Then comes Shylock Eddie. Hot on the Trail is next, and then it's a gap of 3 to Dr. Wysong. Into the far turn they go, and it's Super Game and D's Lovely Sophia stride for stride. Luxury Liner moves up after them 3 wide. Taming the Tigress, Gypsy Blue, Squared Shady, Bella D is 4 lengths off the lead, and then Shylock Eddie wide open as they turn for home. D's Lovely Sophia outside Super Game, who's clinging to the lead. In the center of the course coming now is Gypsy Blue with her rally.
Clinging.
Bella D is sneaking into contention too, along with Taming the Tigress. They all have to get to Super Game, and they're not going to do it. Super Game wins the finale by a length and a half. Taming the Tigress second, then Bella D.
And there's the win. And of course, that's a little more information that gets tucked away in your mind so that you even know better next time what Ability X ratings are telling you as you just simply look down this line and this totally different format and that nice even run for this distance kind of sticks out a little bit and says, hey, look at me a little further. And that's what it's about, and that's why it's a completely different format. And wanted to stop by the web page today just for a couple of minutes to give you the quick rundown that Winning a Living, the special edition that includes how to make Ability X ratings for yourself in the comfort of your own home. Spend maybe 15, possibly 20 minutes to do a full card at any racetrack in North America, so that you have this completely different format at your disposal. Oh yeah, there was another interesting thing, because we featured the 7 furlong distance par of 150.90 on this page, and I show how it repeats and repeats and repeats its frequency. And if we wanted to just take a quick look at Sunday's races, we would find in the 8th race, a 7 furlong distance, the only horse in the race that has a 150s rating, or anywhere around 150s or in the 150s, is number 5, and number 5 wins the race with a 5-2, 2.5-1 payoff, which means that number 5 was also bet down to half of its morning line. Another strong signal for the person like yourself that is able to look and think about a totally different format of information. And that edition of Winning a Living that includes how to make Ability X ratings is available now until the end of the year, and in particular between now and the Breeders' Cup races at the beginning of November. And you can get that for yourself for $240, which is the same money as a 1-year subscription for one track. But if you're able to make the ratings for yourself, you're able to make as many tracks per day as you can handle, whether it's 1, 6, or 10. You're in charge. You've got it. That's the thing. And you can learn all that you want to learn about making good betting decisions on horse racing, such as we have here yesterday afternoon at Santa Anita in this 9th race, a $51.80 payoff, where even a single $20 bill bet on number 1 here, because it makes total sense to do that before post time. You can figure that out in that 10 minutes with Ability X ratings. That brings back $518, or a $500 profit in round numbers. And of course, let me minimize that again, and this is the URL for that web page where you can check that out for yourself. And of course, we thank you very much for joining us for this daily blast. Thank you very much.